This is Trump's tweet. General Motors is sending a Mexican-made model of Chevy Cruze to U.S. car dealers tax-free across the border. Make in USA or pay big border tax, says President-elect Trump. Now, we are in new territories. Our president-elect is using Twitter to communicate with the American public and also to send shots across the bow of corporations thinking of outsourcing American jobs. Here with me now to discuss, radio talk show host and investment advisor Brent Wilsey. Brent, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
This is big news.
Oh, yes.
Is this completely unprecedented? Has a president ever created so many jobs before he's even president?
You know, they haven't. And I'm not a political guy, but I think this is the first guy that's got elected that started doing what he said he was going to do even before he got president. I mean, it's incredible what he's doing.
Some are saying, okay, this is cute and everything, but he can't run the presidency from the Oval Office to Twitter, and he can't be dealing individually with companies like this. That a lot of people are concerned about that sort of dabbling personally with companies. Is that a danger zone for you?
It's really not, because again, he's a president. He's going to have a lot of people below him, but he's setting the precedent of what's going to happen. This is what I'm going to do, and we follow our leaders. So his people below him, his cabinet, everybody else can do the same thing. They're saying, he can do it, why can't we do it? So it's a great start at what he's doing.
Isn't it really too, I mean, I feel like other presidents have done a lot of this communicating personally with CEOs of companies and threatening them and who knows what else. And a lot of times that's been so that they will say, not to mention any names or anything, but donate to their foundation or to support their next campaign. Donald Trump doesn't need any of the above. He's erased his foundation. That's basically gone.
Right.
He doesn't really, I mean, I'm sure he'll want support in his next campaign, but he doesn't need it from anybody individually, because I think his economic policies are going to speak for themselves in terms of generating plenty of campaign donations. So isn't it better that it is above board and that it is right out there on Twitter, and that it's not filtered through some campaign consultant who's advising him, and that it's not necessarily about him, but it really is about the jobs?
I think he really has to go that route, because the media did not treat him very well.
They're still not.
It still does not.
Yeah.
You're right. And so what he's saying is, like, you know what? I'm going directly to the people. You can read my tweets. He does these things on Facebook. So there's no filtering of what he's saying. And he's doing what he said he's going to do. And he has no, I think, secondary agenda. I remember during the election, oh, he's not a politician. I think that's a pretty good thing, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was a Trump media surrogate, so you're not going to get me to say much bad about him. But it really wasn't because of an interpersonal relationship with him at first. For me, it was really about seeing the corruption in politics and realizing that even if I liked a candidate, and I did very much, I was very attached to Ted Cruz at the beginning of the primary, but I knew that Ted Cruz would have to sell his soul to actually win. To corporate America, to Wall Street, to consultants who were corrupt, and to the establishment politicians. I knew he would have to sell his soul, so I knew that even if I liked him, by the time he actually got to office, there was no way I would still like him, or else he would lose. And so I saw Trump as a different option there, and I have to say, he's knocked my socks off pretty much. He's really done far more than I expected he would do. 48% of Americans surveyed by Politico today, new poll released today, said that jobs is their #1 concern. Much fewer were concerned about things like banning Muslims, about building the wall. Only 21% concerned about building the wall. And even Supreme Court Justice appointee, only 34% concerned about this. So jobs is #1. That's the track he's on. Why are the Democrats giving him such hell?
Because they're Democrats. I mean, they're not. They can't support
But don't they
him.
want America to prosper?
They do, but not through him. They want to do it. It's not going to happen that way. So you can't support your opposition. And Donald Trump is going to go ahead, and he's going to be the greatest president we've had in a long time, because he's going to do what he says he's going to do. And you talk about jobs. Well, the first thing for people is, like, can I put food on my table? Can I take my kids out to dinner? Can I do things? That's the #1 thing, is that they want good jobs that pay well. And President-elect Donald Trump has actually talked about that, and he is doing it. From what I can see, he's the first man that's been elected that is actually following through with what he's saying. We can go back to 8 years, and all the promises President Obama made, how many did he really stick to? I think President-elect Trump is going to actually stand behind that. It's going to be great for the economy. We can talk about the corporate tax cuts, the money from overseas. These are all things I've talked about for years to improve our economy. President-elect Trump is going to do these, and it's going to be very good for our economy.
Wouldn't it be nice in T-15 when we can stop using a 6-syllable word to describe him and just go back with President Trump?
I would
That'd be really
nice.
nice.
Yeah, that'd be correct.
But I want to say this though, because I can't help but notice the psychology here, and I know that's not your specialty. That's what I like to talk about though, because I think it's important to note that there is a psychology. There's a psychology to markets. We've seen that already. There's a psychology to entire economic systems. There's a psychology to civilizations that rise and fall. But there's a psychology here that looks to me like one big, ugly, hairy, green monster. It's like Obama didn't accomplish the things he wanted to accomplish. The Democrats kind of sat back on their laurels and enjoyed their cocktail parties and spent $100 million on vacations and golfing and didn't really accomplish anything. Now Trump's coming in and he's doing it, and Obama's going, well, darn. You know what I mean? I feel like it's jealousy.
Right.
I feel like it's really almost that base.
And you're so right on the psychology, though, because consumer confidence is the highest it's been in so long. And when people feel better, they're going to go out and start spending money. They're going to start looking for jobs. This is kind of self-fulfilling, because when you feel good, you're going to do more things. So it is a psychology as well, and that's going to keep these things going. And President-elect Trump is going to keep that moving forward. I mean, I am so excited about for our investment portfolio for the next year and the next 4 years, because businesses are going to do well. I think people do well. Who's not going to do well are people that want to sit back and just have their hands out. They're not going to do well.
What's going to happen with the housing market? Because you look at it and you just think, you know, we really are. Some people are saying the economy is overstimulated. What's going to happen? What's your projection? I know you don't know everything. You don't have a crystal ball, but if you had to guess.
Well, we have a home builder in our portfolio. They have a backlog, I believe, of like 3 billion homes. It is just incredible that the demand that there are for homes there. So I think the housing market is going to do well. And again, they're a nationwide builder, not just, you know, in Southern California, whatever. Nationwide, I think it's going to do well. We have all these millennials that got out of school and they were living at home with their parents. Well, now they're going to start saying, hey, I'm tired of living with your mom and dad. I want to move out. And they're going to start looking for starter homes. People are going to start moving up. So we're going to have this nice move. I'm not saying real estate is going to have a big burst and it's not in a bubble. We're going to have a nice growth on real estate, have a nice growth in business, the car manufacturers. We're going to have a good, balanced economy going forward.
Well, it's exciting times, that's for sure.
Yes,
and we'll be watching, and we're really honored to have you in studio with us today. Thank you for being
You're welcome.
in
Thanks
with
for having
us.
me.